up, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Barbie, and thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please remember to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for more crystal content. Alright guys, so let's jump right into this week's video. Today I'm going to be discussing man-made crystals. Now a lot of you may know many of these crystals, but some of you may not, and some of you may have been under the impression that you were buying real crystals because the seller didn't disclose that they were man-made. And as a seller, this is really good information to know, so you know that you are selling man-made crystals, and as a buyer, this is really great information to know so that you know what you're buying, so you don't end up getting a man-made stone that you didn't really want. Now man-made stones can be really beautiful. We are going to be discussing 10 man-made stones in this week's video, so if you guys want to learn about these 10 man-made stones, stay tuned and let's get on into the video. Okay guys, so for today's video, like I said, we are going to be talking about 10 man-made crystal stones. Let's just jump right into it. The first crystal we're going to be talking about is opalite. Now opalite is super common. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that this is a man-made stone, but if you don't, opalite is a man-made glass with an opalescent sheen. And opalite can come in many other names, such as sea opal, regular opal, moonstone. Opalite is often used in place of real opal, especially in jewelry pieces. That's the most common place that I see opalite being used in place of genuine opal. So I'll put some pictures of genuine opal. As you can see, it's a completely different stone and looks very different, but a lot of people who are buying jewelry who aren't familiar with crystals tend to get fooled by this. So because opalite is man-made and made of glass, it tends to have no natural inclusions and tends to look very perfect. So that's a really easy way to tell if your crystals are real or not, is if they don't have any inclusions and they're very smooth and look very perfect and have teeny tiny little bubbles in them, it's most likely glass. So it's actually said that opalite still has healing properties, and some of those healing properties for opalite are: opalite is great for the third eye chakra. It helps with intuition and communication on a spiritual level. So just because opalite is a man-made stone doesn't mean that it's bad to have in your personal collection. I know a lot of people like to avoid man-made stones, but this one is one you can definitely have in your collection. Now the next crystal we're going to be discussing is goldstone, which comes in a variety of colors. Goldstone is a glittering man-made glass. It is very shiny and a very beautiful stone. Goldstone is the most common form, but there's also blue goldstone and a bunch of other different variances of coloring, but the most common I've seen is the gold and the blue. Goldstone usually contains copper, whereas the blue version of goldstone usually contains cobalt. So goldstone is definitely a man-made stone, but it does have natural elements in it, so it does have some healing properties. Goldstone is great to help with your ambition and helping you obtain your goals. So again, goldstone is another great man-made stone to have in your collection because it does have those natural elements of copper and cobalt. So the next man-made stone we are going to be talking about is bismuth. So bismuth is really unique, and for the longest time I didn't really know that it was man-made because it is a all metal crystal, which metal is a natural element, but you can actually make bismuth yourself at home. Bismuth is formed with several geometric layers and creates a very unique pattern. It also looks like it has an aura treatment on it, but the way that it is formed, it naturally has all those rainbows and patterns. So bismuth is formed from bismuth metal that is melted down and heated up and then cooled down to create the geometric pattern. And bismuth again is one of those man-made crystals that does have some healing properties. Bismuth relieves feelings of loneliness or isolation, so really great crystal for this time frame in our lives that we're all going through right now. And it's a stone used for transformation and change. So personally, I really like bismuth. It's just a really unique stone. And if you guys are interested in making your own bismuth, I will leave a link in the description box down below of another YouTube creator. Some of it is a little bit more complicated, but the process is really cool. So I highly recommend you guys check out that video just to learn a little bit more about how it's formed and made. It is definitely readily available on the crystal market, so you don't need to make it yourself, but just know it's a man-made stone and it doesn't naturally occur in nature. So the next crystal we're going to be talking about is smelting quartz. quartz. Now this crystal mainly comes out of China and is not a crystal at all. So smelting quartz is actually not quartz. It is a glass which is made from melting quartz in the presence of another compound. Smelting quartz creates a beautiful pattern inside the glass, which can be carved and shaped into spheres and towers, making it look very similar to a real crystal. Now because it's glass, it won't have any natural inclusions, and it might have tiny little bubbles in it that indicates that it's glass. And smelting quartz, to my knowledge, doesn't have any healing properties at all, unlike some of the other man-made stones that we'll be discussing today. Smelting quartz is really just a great home decor item. I have carried it in my shop before and it is really beautiful, but if you do see quartz that looks like this, that almost has a liquid injected into it, or it looks like it was painted, that is smelting quartz, and it is a man-made stone. So the next stone we are going to be talking about is Chalcanthite, and I probably said that wrong because it's a really complicated word. So Chalcanthite is a bright blue stone that can actually form naturally, but it is extremely rare, so it is often lab created. And my first experience with Chalcanthite is actually in one of my very first crystal hauls at the Raleigh Crystal and Gemstone show. I picked one of these up, and for the longest time I thought it was a natural crystal, but it is actually man-made. It is this stone, which I think is absolutely stunning. It almost looks like rock candy from when you're a kid. And I've never seen anything this blue, and it is really fragile. Like you can see a piece just broke off. So it's very fragile. So one thing to know about this stone is that you should never put it in water because it will dissolve. So if you do pick up this man-made stone, do not put it in water. So this mineral is mainly made up of copper, hence why it can form naturally, but can also be grown in a lab very easily, which is what most people tend to do since it doesn't occur in nature very commonly. And because the stone has a higher copper content, it can be used for healing benefits. Copper is often used to help with arthritis, and because of its blue color, it is really great for the throat chakra. So the next man-made stone we are going to be talking about is Silicone Carbide. So if you haven't seen this stone, it is really beautiful and it almost looks like it has an aura treatment on it. A lot of times this isn't disclosed as a man-made stone, but this definitely is man-made. So Silicone Carbide has a really interesting history. It is formed from a mass-produced powder that can be bonded together to create a crystal-like formation. So again, this is a stone that can occur naturally, but it is extremely rare. So that's why it is often lab created. Silicone carbide is used in a ton of industries, mostly industrial sources, but it is a really commonly used material in a lot of products. It was discovered in 1891 by Edward Goodrich when he was attempting to recreate diamonds. He accidentally created silicone carbide. So it is said that silicone carbide does have healing properties. It's said to be a master healer because of all of its colorings. It does relate to every single chakra. It is said to purify the mind and body, and it's actually said to help with eye strain from computers and phones. So really beautiful crystal. I actually used to have some of this, and I did used to have it in some of my mystery boxes. Just another cool stone to have in your collection, but if you do see it, just know that it is a man-made stone. So the next stone we're going to talk about is magnetic hematite. Now hematite is a real stone, but magnetic hematite is actually man-made. So hematite isn't naturally magnetic, so if you stumble across magnetic hematite, that's the one that is the man-made stone. It does look identical to real hematite, so unless you're buying it in person or it says magnetic hematite, you won't really know if it's man-made. The chemical makeup of hematite and magnetic hematite is identical, but what makes it different is the formation process is completely different. So if you're finding yourself seeing magnetic hematite, it is not a new discovery, it is just a man-made stone of hematite. So the next few crystals I'm going to be talking about are not super commonly known, but I want to share them with you guys because these are being sold out of China as real stones, and I just want to make you guys aware so you know that they're man-made and not real. The next crystal I'm going to be talking about is green ghost quartz. quartz. Now this one does come out of China and it is truly being sold as real quartz, so you need to be really careful. When I was researching this video, I saw a lot of Etsy sellers, a lot of sellers in general believing that this is a real stone, and I have confirmation from my supplier, who is out of China, that has confirmed that this is a man-made stone, and looking at it, it looks extremely man-made to me. But a lot of people unfortunately are selling this as real and the price is pretty high, so be really careful when buying this stone. So like I said, green ghost quartz comes out of China, Shanghai specifically. There is such a thing as green phantom quartz, but green ghost quartz is the man-made version. So I don't have a ton of information on this stone because it does exclusively come out of China, but like I said, I've confirmed with my supplier that this is unfortunately man-made or lab grown. So here's just a few listings on Etsy claiming that this stone is real, so be really careful. A lot of American crystal shops just do not know that this is being sold as fake because they themselves have been told that it is real, but I'm here to tell you that it is man-made. So if you see this crystal, just be careful when you're buying it, and even if it says real, just know it's not. So the next man-made stone we're going to talk about is cat's eye. I don't have a ton of information on this stone, but I do know it is man-made. It has been confirmed by my supplier that it is man-made, but a lot of people do say that it is real, and so just some confusion out in the market. Cat's eye is a man-made stone that comes in many colors, and it has a very bright flash. It is said that cat's eye can be great for color therapy, and they do say that cat's eye does have some healing properties. Cat's eye is said to make its wearer emotionally stable, fortify the spirit, and protect from different types of negativity. So like I said, I don't have a ton of information on cat's eye, but here are some images so you can easily spot cat's eye. It is very commonly sold and is pretty inexpensive. If I do come across more information later, I will leave it in the description box down below. And the last crystal I want to talk about that is man-made is again not super common. A lot of people don't know that it's being man-made, and it's actually sometimes being faked out of China for Larimar, but now China has been selling genuine Larimar, so I think the need for this fake Larimar has kind of gone away. I haven't seen it pop up, but I did want to bring it to you guys, so in case you do see it on eBay or from sellers in China, that you know it is actually glass. So its trade name is Snowflake or Snowflower or Alabaster, so lots of different trade names. It was really hard to track down images of this, and to me that's a good sign. That means it's not actually being sold that common, but I did find a few being sold specifically on Wish and a few on Etsy, but the ones on Etsy were calling out that it was a fake stone. So like I said, a lot of people don't come across this stone, and it is really beautiful, so it does look real. It doesn't look like your typical glass. So like I said, when it first came on the market, it was really being confused for Larimar, especially because Larimar is a pretty newish stone to the market, and I think now that people have been seeing Larimar pop up more, they know what to look for. I actually made a video on fake Larimar, and I didn't include this stone, so that's why I want to talk about it in this video. So it does kind of have a bubble-like pattern, which is very similar to the pool-like pattern in Larimar. You can see from the color that it does look really different. The fake Larimar, Alabaster, or Snowflake Jasper does kind of have a duller, more green tint, whereas Larimar is a bright pool-like blue. So like I said, I haven't seen this popping up a ton, but if you do see it, know that it is glass. My suppliers have sold it before and they do disclose that it is glass, but I know not all suppliers disclose that, and then it's sold to an American vendor who resells it as authentic. So just know if you see something like this, it is glass. And for this stone, I'm not aware that it has any healing properties, and I have not found in my research that it has any healing properties. It is just straight up glass. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I hope you guys learned something about these 10 man-made stones that are out in the market. Just because they're man-made doesn't mean they're bad, and don't feel bad for owning man-made stones at all. So if you guys have made it this far, leave me a crystal ball emoji down in the comment section. And always, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. This helps me know that you guys enjoy this content, and I will keep making it as long as you guys keep watching it and keep liking it. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye! And before I go, a special thank you to all of my patrons. If you are interested in joining my Patreon, I will leave a link in the description box down below. This Patreon is a great way to support my channel, and if you are looking for additional business advice, I offer this as well. So I look forward to seeing you on my Patreon.